guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at this portable projector from Wanbo. Now this is the DALI 1, as you can see here on the packaging, and it boasts some pretty cool specs on their website. It's lightweight and it weighs 0.9 kilograms. It runs Android 9.0. There's dual band Wi-Fi 6. It can also be used as a standalone Bluetooth speaker, and there are plenty of apps including Netflix, YouTube, Prime, Disney and more, and it comes in at only $120 with the projector desktop stand. So it boasts quite a lot for a relatively low budget price, so let's go ahead, get this thing unboxed and see what it's all about. So this is actually Adam in the future because my unboxing clips got corrupted for some reason. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you what you get inside the box. So of course you get an AC adapter and a plug. In this instance we get a UK plug because we are from the UK, of course. We do also get a really nice looking remote. Now this thing is pretty clean and does look pretty similar to the more high-end remotes I have with my high-end projectors. So it's nice to see a remote like this is included in the box. And of course this is how you're going to control the projector with the back buttons, the focus buttons, home buttons, your D-pad, your on-off and your various other settings. Then of course we get the projector itself inside the box. A pretty simple clean design, I must say. A big fan of the all white colorway. Underneath you can see we get a thread here, so this can be mounted on the desktop stand or of course on a tripod or things like that. Taking a quick look at the front of the projector, there is a little camera down here. Now that's going to be used for the auto focusing and auto keystone, and then of course we get the actual projector lens up here itself. And turning the projector over, we can take a look at some of the ports. We of course get the power supply port, a USB port, a HDMI port and a headphone jack just there. And here is a dust proof box, and it looks like that you can open this to clean all the dust inside the unit. This thing is a pretty nice size. It's not overly too big, it's also not too small. It weighs 0.9 kilos, so it's easy to hold in one hand, and I think would look quite good on a desk or a TV unit or something like that, and it wouldn't look too out of place. And then lastly we get the button on top, and this is how you're going to go ahead and turn the projector on or off, or turn it into the Bluetooth stereo mode. Before we go any further, let's just take a quick look at the desktop stand. Of course this is going to be handy to mount the projector on, so you've got something sturdy to keep it on. So just a relatively basic stand. There are 4 little feet here which are kind of like a rubber-like material. They're quite soft, so they're going to provide nice grip on your desktop. A nice little thread down here that you can twist by hand or of course using a coin. Thread on top, a padded area here which again is very grippy, so the projector should sit nice and flush. This can this be tilted? It kind of looks like it could be tilted, but I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to tilt, so it's just going to sit there. I mean, we'll put the projector on and see, but of course with a projector it'd be nice if this part tilted, so you could find the right angle depending on whether it needs to look up or down, but it doesn't seem like it moves. But connecting it to this is going to be pretty simple. Of course, you just line up the thread, make sure that the thread's in there, and just simply screw that on. And that is on like so. And actually at this point, you'll see it does actually tilt, which is very nice. It's not a massive amount of tilt as you can see there, but that is going to help the angle just to make sure you're facing a wall or a screen or whatever, and just allows for a little bit of adjustment, which is nice to see. Just a quick one to say, the remote uses AAA batteries, 2 of them. They do not come in the box, so you're going to have to provide your own. So the projector is now plugged in. We're going to go ahead and turn it on. I'm going to see if I can use this little wall right here just to kind of give you an idea of the image before of course taking it downstairs to use on the projector screen. So let's just go ahead and we're just going to press and hold this button here to turn it on. Hopefully it should just power on. There we go, you can instantly see the image come to life. It is out of focus, but of course that's what the remote and stuff is for. So as you can see, the image is slightly blurred, so we're going to go ahead and hit these buttons here to try to get it in focus. As you can see, it's trying to work its magic there, but perhaps the screen is too small. It is coming into focus a little bit. I think that's as far as it will go on this little screen. Of course, we can move it both this way and the opposite way, but it still will not focus at this point. Perhaps the size is just too small in this instance. So obviously this doesn't work, it's too close to the wall. So I'm going to go ahead and mount this on a tripod and then get it set up somewhere else. So we've now got it mounted on a tripod in front of our racing sim. And as you can see up there, we now have the picture. So at this point, we can go ahead and explore some of the options and the settings on the remote. So we're just going to make sure that this is in focus. So you can manual focus this by using the adjustment wheel there, up or down. Obviously, it's not the best in terms of how it's sitting. It's a little bit wonky, as you can see from up there. But we might just have to deal with that as it is for now, just to kind of show you how it works in the room before showing you on the screen. So we get a welcome screen. We'll hit let's go. And then, of course, we're going to run through the setup guide. You have to select your position. So ours, obviously, you can mount this upside down. So depending on how you're going to have it. So, of course, there was a Wi-Fi screen, which I went ahead and made sure I was connected to Wi-Fi. And then you have to pick your area in here. So now we have the home screen of the projector. And straight away, I can see there are apps in here. So this is Android 9.0. So of course you do get the option to download a ton of apps. Now, not all of these apps will work. I've had this on my other projectors where you're able to download games, but of course it's not actually going to run on the projector. So you have to go ahead and see what works and what doesn't. But in terms of all the streaming apps, now these should work. So we've already got Netflix on here and YouTube. There was Spotify at the top. And then obviously there's some films that are recommended here. I'm not sure what these are going to play from. But of course, we're going to want to use something like Netflix, YouTube, Disney, things like that, our actual streaming services that we can go ahead and use. We've got Prime in here. These are some of the Android apps that you can get, iMirror, eShare, Mirrorcast, to be able to mirror and play what you've got on your phone onto the projector, because that is an option as well. But let's just go ahead for ease of use, just go ahead and check out YouTube. So of course, we're going to pull ourselves up on YouTube because why not? It's a little bit of free promotion on here. And it looks like you can scroll through and just watch videos as you would expect. Let's go ahead and play this one and see how it loads.
They're just too good to show.
So there is a volume button and it can clearly go quite loud. This is volume 4, but that's insanely loud considering it's only on level 4. So there we are there. Of course, let's go ahead and turn this up and see how loud this can actually get.
Final tonight against Holland, and I think it's coming home. Let's hope that one doesn't come back to haunt me. Now, you're probably aware from the title of the video, but today is going to be about the Vicha glasses. And not just anything about the Vicha glasses, we are indeed going to be checking out the Spacewalker app for Windows, because it is now finally available on Windows. So we've got our gaming
So that is very, very loud. Considering the size, I can see why it's used as a standalone Bluetooth speaker, because that is insanely loud and pretty impressive as well. So of course, on the remote just up here, let me get that in focus, we have this button here which does enable mouse mode. So if I go ahead and press that, you'll see enabled mouse mode, which now means it's not a cursor as such where you get to point, but you can sort of control the mouse, and then with the directional D-pad you can use it like that. I actually think it's easier if you're going to use something like this, you probably want that off and be able to just navigate by using the directional D-pad, and it will pull up what it should pull up, which is a lot easier. So YouTube plays and works as you'd expect. It's relatively quickly considering it's Android 9.0. So again, it's very similar to a lot of the other projectors that I've used. They're all running Android TV or Android 9.0 or Android 10 or whatever. And it seems to work. It certainly does the job. Now, this isn't a 4K projector, of course. This is 720p. But I think the quality is actually pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and let a little bit of this video play. Now, of course, me trying to capture it on camera is always going to be harder and more difficult to show you what I see with my eyes versus what you're seeing on the screen. But for a 720p projector, it's actually pretty decent. So as you can see, you can go ahead and install Disney. We spoke about what apps are available on here. And because it's Android, pretty much all apps are available. Whether or not they work is another question, but I will go ahead and check Netflix, because I know for whatever reason, Netflix doesn't seem to work on all of the Android devices. It doesn't seem to work on my other high-end projectors. So let's go ahead and see if it will work on this lower budget-friendly option. So Netflix is actually working. Now, sometimes I've been able to get to this point on other projectors, but not actually play a film. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit play, and hopefully it actually plays the film. This is the test right here. And as you can see, there are zero issues. It is actually playing a film from Netflix, which is pretty decent to say the least, considering this is a budget-friendly projector, and some of my more high-end ones don't actually have Netflix available like this. So that's a massive win. So before I get flagged for copyright, let's just go ahead and actually check out the settings and see what we can do in this. So of course you've got your network, which we're not going to worry about, we're already connected. You've then got projection and different settings in here. So you've got display scale. If we open that, you can press the up, down to adjust the screen size. So you do have the option to make it a little bit smaller. So if you wanted to fill a space or shrink it, you have the option to do that, which is pretty nice. For trapezoid, let's click on this, and this is how you make the image more square. So if we do this, this is usually called keystone, and you can see that up there. And this is what I have on my other projectors. So I'm able to actually get the image as square on as you can, which does mean you can have the projectors placed slightly off an angle, but still make sure you get a totally square image like that. That's already looking way better. Keystone reset, of course, you can do that manually. Picture focus, autofocus boost, autofocus move, autofocus boot. So all of these with the on for the auto keystone and stuff, that's exactly what that camera is going to be doing. Then of course, if we go down to Bluetooth, you can get connected via Bluetooth because this can be used as a standalone Bluetooth speaker, which we have spoke about. You've got different language options in here, which is good. And then common settings, let's see what we get in here. We get some picture settings, so you can adjust the color temperature and the picture mode. So we've got cool, warm, standard, and user, which you have a little option there to adjust the RGB. We get picture mode, which again has some preset options: standard, vivid, soft, and user. I think we'll stick with standard in this instance. Sound options, we get sound mode, standard, news, music, movie, sports, or user. Again, we're just going to stick with standard for now. We've got a source setting option, so you can plug in a HDMI or of course a USB. So you're probably able to play films from a USB stick if you plug it into the projector. We've got application management, which will show all of your apps that are installed. Time, keyboard, screensaver, input port, which again, I assume allows us to toggle between USB and HDMI, a system net update, a local update, and a factory data reset. And then you've got about, which just tells you some of the options in there. Android 9 has 8 GB of storage on the projector itself. So that's the storage you're going to be able to download and save all your apps like Netflix, Disney, and so on. But that's pretty much it for settings. It would have been nice to see a brightness in here just to sort of increase the brightness a little. Obviously, it's not the most bright in the world. I'll put the brightness on screen from what I can grab from the website. It's a relatively dark room. I have shut the blinds, but it is daytime. The projection and the screen quality is pretty good. Now, of course, it looks worse on camera than what I'm actually seeing in person. But I think at this point, I should go ahead and take this downstairs and throw it onto the big screen and see how good it looks on an actual projector screen. So we've now got the projector set up downstairs. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and close the shutters to make it as dark as we can and then get the screen projector up and get this thing switched back on. Now, some of you might be interested in the screen in this video. The screen right here, as you can see, is from Vivid Storm Screens. I've had this for a little while now. There isn't a dedicated review video, but this thing is awesome because you use a remote and it goes up automatically. So let me just go ahead and show you. Here is the remote. I'm going to hit the up button and this thing is just going to go all the way up on its own. Right, so we're all set up and I'm pleased to say that it does project an image big enough to work with this 90-inch screen. And as you can see, the picture is also pretty decent. Now again, I said this a little bit earlier, I wish it was a little bit brighter. It is lacking a little bit in terms of the brightness. This is going to be amazing for in the evenings, but during the daytime when there's still quite a lot of light seeping through, not so much. But again, we do have to look at the price point being $120, and what exactly we are getting for that is a whole bunch of features, so you can't have everything in that price range. Now let's go ahead and get something playing on here again. I'm just going to go with the trusty YouTube because this way I can avoid any copyright strikes. So the image here, as you can see, is pretty clear. It's a 1080p projector, of course, we must remember, so it's not as clear and as crisp as one of my 4K projectors, but again, that $120 price point, the image is very, very good. You're going to have a wicked time using this to watch films, potentially and probably in your room, I'd imagine, especially with the little desktop stands. You can have this sitting on the side, playing your favourite films up on the wall or even on the roof or ceiling of your room, Or of course, if you have a projector screen, you can use it like this as well, as we're seeing here. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it up and let it play. This is for demonstration purposes. There are no copyrights intended here. Now, I'm very impressed with the sound quality, I must admit. And again, the picture quality isn't too bad considering that price point. It's certainly watchable, it's 720p. I just wish it was a little bit brighter, but again, we have to look at the price point. You're not gonna get everything you want within that range. There's one final thing we need to take a look at, and that's the Bluetooth speaker. So we're gonna go ahead and check that out, and then that's gonna wrap this video up. Right, so for the final look, we've now put it into the intelligent speaker mode. And you do that by simply hitting the power button to turn it off, and then there's either shutdown, or if you go to the first option, it's intelligent speaker. So it's not on, there's no fans running, but it is connected and it's now a speaker. So we're on Epidemic Sounds here, and I'm just gonna find a song, hit play, and then we're gonna listen to it through the speaker. So guys, that was a look at the DALI 1 from Wanbo, a budget-friendly projector that still comes with a whole load of features. For $120 with the stand, this thing is pretty incredible. Of course, the sound and image quality isn't going to be up there with the very high-end projectors, but for $120, you get a whole lot of features in this thing. I think this thing is going to be great for most people, especially teenagers. At $120, it comes in at a really decent budget-friendly option. And then with the desk stand, you can have this on your desk, tabletop, bedside, or whatever it is, sit and watch films in 720p, or even use it and double up as a Bluetooth speaker. For $120, you really cannot go wrong with this. So thanks to Wanbo for sending this out for us to take a look at, and thanks to you guys for watching the video. As always, you'll find links down below in the description. I am going to go ahead and try to get a discount, so if there is a discount, it will be the link down below. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.